your turn to do you want me to say an intro just to make you feel more relaxed? You know what I mean? Like, today we're going to hear from Amy Rich about making learning fun.
I would do that just to make you feel awkward.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. No. Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
All right.
And seriously, please feel free to just stop me if I need to redo something rather than wait until the end. Just stop me. This is so easy to edit out.
Okay.
So yeah. And again, if I'm skipping out at any point, let me know. And yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Oh, so you'll have to mute once we get started.
I will mute, and I'm going to just hold on, I need a piece of paper. I'm just going to take some notes in case you do go out, because I might wait on it and then redo certain pieces. Okay.
Okay.
So you're going to start with an intro, right? So I'm going to put you on?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll start with this intro on camera, and then
I switch to presenters. Yep. Okay. Or to the presentation. All right.
Exactly.
Let me mute. I'll mute, and then you can go ahead.
Okay. Welcome everyone to part 1 of my 3-part series, Making Learning Fun, Interactive Activities to Build Student Motivation and Engagement in Your Classroom. My name is Amy. Here are today's goals. I'm going to talk about motivation as it relates to the classroom, establish the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, and show you some fun technology-based activities you can use with your students to spark their intrinsic motivation. So let's get started. Motivation is defined as a force or influence that causes someone to do something. It's an internal process that makes a person move towards a goal. When we talk about motivation in schools, we're generally talking about our students' motivation to learn. So what do we know about motivating students? We know that higher student motivation leads to higher student engagement, and that higher student engagement results in higher achievement, better understanding of concepts, more satisfaction with school, and a lower dropout rate. We also know that there are 2 types of motivation, intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. Do you know the difference? Feel free to write your responses in the comments section of this video. Intrinsic motivation is the natural curiosity and desire to learn that we're all born with. So when your students engage in a behavior or perform an activity, intrinsic with natural curiosity and desire to learn that we're all born with. So when your students engage in a behavior...
Start that slide again. Cut out. I'll mute.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, thanks. Intrinsic motivation is the natural curiosity and desire to learn that we are all born with. So when your students engage in a behavior or perform an activity because it's personally rewarding, they're being intrinsically motivated. This could be when they participate in a class game because they find it enjoyable, or when they compete in a class contest because they like the challenge. Extrinsic motivation is when we perform a behavior in order to receive a good grade, or when they compete in a class contest to win a prize. Again, they're motivated.
Start with extrinsic motivation. Sorry.
Don't worry. Yeah, keep letting me know.
Okay.
Crappy internet.
Here we go.
Okay. Extrinsic motivation is when we perform a behavior or engage in an activity in order to receive an external reward. This is when your students study in order to receive a good grade, or when they compete in a class contest to win a prize. Again, their motivation to try is to receive something for their effort. It is stimulating our students' intrinsic motivation, their passion for learning, that I will focus on in my presentation, specifically sparking it by using technology in the classroom. If you're hoping to motivate your students intrinsically with something that they'll truly enjoy, using technology is probably the best place to start. Most of you are probably familiar with the examples of, okay, I'll start this over. If you're hoping to motivate your students intrinsically with something that they'll truly enjoy, using technology is probably the best place to start. Most of you are probably familiar with the examples of technology I've listed on this page, but do you know how to incorporate them into your classroom? From my own experience working with teachers, many are a little intimidated by the thought of using technology in their classrooms. Okay, I'm just going to start with that sentence again. From my own experience working with teachers, many are a little intimidated by the thought of using technology in their classrooms, or they don't quite know how to operate it. I hope I can help you by giving you, okay.
Sorry, but you got to start it again.
Okay, where do you want me to start?
From where you just restarted from that sentence that
okay.
Yep.
Will do.
Mm-hmm.
From my own experience working with teachers, many are a little intimidated by the thought of using technology in their classrooms, or they don't quite know how to incorporate it. I hope I can help by giving you some fun and easy ideas for incorporating technology into your classroom. Here is a really innovative activity you can do with students that they will love. Many of your students own a smartphone and are familiar with using different types of apps. A really fun way I incorporate technology concepts into my classroom is through an app competition. Okay. A really fun way I incorporate technology concepts. Oh man, you gotta be kidding me. Am I the new Gina Rhodes? Okay. A really fun way I incorporate technology concepts into my classroom is through an app competition activity where teams work to create a new innovative app idea. And students, especially teenagers, love it. Here's how it works. First, start by dividing your students into groups of 3 or 4 and give groups 10 minutes to brainstorm a concept for an app. The idea should be original or at least one they've never heard of. During this time, walk around to provide assistance, keeping students on topic, helping them with vocabulary, encouraging them, and making sure they've come up with an idea that's new. Now, depending on your class, you can choose any length of time for each of them about to describe.
Sorry, I was thinking it might not be an issue, but you should start again at first. It cut out like
okay.
more than, yeah.
All right. I'm wondering if I should move a little in my house and see if that will help. Okay, you know what? I'm going to connect the modem, like the cable,
Okay.
to my computer
Yep.
and see if that's going to help us a little bit. Okay.
Yep.
Just
Sounds
a second.
good. No problem.
Okay, just a sec. All right. This is going to be kind of a strange sort of setup, but let's try it. All right.
I will be back in 1 second.
Okay.
Like literally probably 1 to 5 seconds.
Okay.
right.
So here's my question.
Uh-huh.
What do you think my chances are of losing the connection temporarily if I turn off my Wi-Fi? Like I just connected the cord from the modem.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think probably they're pretty high. I don't know.
Yeah, but technically I should be like connected.
Yeah, that's true. Well, let's see how it goes, and I can just send you another link.
Okay.
Yeah, go
Well,
ahead
let's
and
try
turn it
this.
off and see what
Okay.
happens.
Katie,
Yep.
you still there?
Yep.
Okay, let's try this.
All right. We can do it. You want to just start with the whole teaching with the app slide?
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay.
Okay, I'm starting.
I'm muting.
Okay. Here's a really innovative activity you can do with students that they will love. Many of your students own a smartphone and are familiar with using different types of apps. A really fun way I incorporate technology concepts in my classroom is through an app competition activity where teams work to create a new innovative app idea, and students, especially teenagers, love it. Here's how it works. Start by dividing your students into groups of 3 to 4 and give groups 10 minutes to brainstorm a concept for an app. The app should be original or at least one they've never heard of. During this time, you can walk around and provide assistance, keeping students on topic, helping with vocabulary, encouraging them, and making sure they've come up with an idea that's new. Now, depending on your class, you can choose any length of time for each of the steps that I describe. After about 10 minutes of brainstorming, ask everyone to stop. Each group should have their idea. Explain that they now have 15 minutes to create a poster that includes their app name, an outline of what their app is, how it functions, and an app logo. While they're working, be sure to walk around, monitor, and provide assistance. Again, after about 15 minutes, they must stop. Now it's time to move into the presentation stage of the competition. Give teams about 5 minutes to work on their oral presentations. Once ready, each group takes, do that part over. Once ready, each group takes one more time. Once ready, each group takes turns presenting their app ideas to the rest of the class. Take a look at the students down here. Okay, Jesus Christ. I will start that one from the beginning. So after about another 15 minutes, they must stop. Now it's time to move into the presentation stage of the competition. Give teams about 5 minutes to work on their oral presentations. Once ready, each group takes turns presenting their app ideas to the rest of the class. After presentations, there's a vote. And each group must vote for the best app and cannot vote for themselves. To make sure teams aren't just voting for their friends, ask them to explain why they voted for that particular app. Feel free to pause here to take a look at instructions and tips for the app competition. Ah, these are the tips. Shoot. Okay. I'm going to change that slide so I can still say what I said, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to change that slide.
Okay.
I did it in the other presentations, but I forgot for this one.
Alrighty.
Okay.
I thought it looked good, but whatever you want. You were gonna give like the step-by-step something?
Yeah, actually, do you think we need the step-by-step thing, or can I just say pause here to take a look at tips?
I think that's fine. I think it's fine the way it is. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll
Maybe
just say
for the Jeopardy game, it's like for the other ones, it maybe is a little. But I think you have like 1, 2, 3, 4 like on the other slide.
Yeah.
So I think it's fine.
Okay.
There
So
you
I'll
go.
just start over from that one.
Okay, from the tips one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll mute.
All right. Feel free to pause here. Feel free to pause here and take a look at some tips for the app competition. My next teaching with technology activity is called Newspaper Hunt. If you'd like to get your students reading, specifically something culturally rich like a newspaper, here's a fun activity you can facilitate. Before class, choose an online paper source and make up several Before class, choose an online newspaper source and make up several focus questions based on its front page articles. As you can see here, I've chosen Voice of America's online paper. Once in class, pair up your students and have them locate the online newspaper you've chosen. In order to answer the questions you've pre-created, your students will have to skim through articles in the newspaper. You can see here some sample questions I've made for my newspaper hunt in the blue box. You can make the questions as easy or difficult as you'd like, depending on your student's language level. Without even knowing it, your students will be reading English, exposed to new vocabulary and American culture, and having fun. Now feel free to pause here to take a look at some tips for the newspaper hunt. A great technology-based activity you can do with your students is to arrange for them to interview an expert in the field. All right, I'm going to start over. A great technology-based activity you can do with your students is to arrange for them to interview an expert in the field via any video app, such as Skype, Facebook, FaceTime, or Google Hangouts. What do I mean by expert in the field? Well, just someone who knows about a particular topic. Take a look at this picture here. You can see me on Skype with a bunch of children. That's because I was an expert in the field for a third grade class in Vermont, USA, that was learning about the Middle East. Since I was living in Jordan at the time, they wanted to ask me all sorts of questions. They stood in line and asked questions one by one, such as, are there camels in Jordan? What's the weather like? What holidays do people in Jordan celebrate? So think about your students. What are they curious about? Why not connect them with an expert in the field? This is a great way to motivate your students to speak and practice how to ask questions in English. Here are a few more technology-based ideas for your classroom. If your students are not excited about writing assignments, use ePals to motivate them. An ePal is an email pen pal, so someone your student can write to via email. ePals will give your students opportunities to practice their English in a meaningful way and also make new friends. This is certainly more motivating than writing a hypothetical letter, and of course, great preparation for those future business emails they'll be writing. Where can you find ePals for your students? Well, most of us have fellow English teachers who work in different schools or maybe even in different countries. Take advantage of that by pairing up your students with their English students. If you can't find another English class to work with, you can post a request for ePals on any ESL message board. Do your students use social media? Encourage them to change their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram profiles to English. Suggest they like pages and news sources in English to maximize their English language exposure. And finally, have you seen Jeff Kuhn's amazing two-part series on using podcasts in the classroom? Okay, I'll start that over. Finally, have you seen Jeff Kuhn's amazing two-part series on using podcasts in the classroom and making them with your students? I highly recommend you watch it. It's now available on the AE. Okay, we need to do that one again. One more time. That was just so crappy.
It didn't sound that bad to me, but whatever you.
Sounds so fake, like holy crap.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna try to do it again.
Okay.
And I'm like so disoriented being in this room because I'm like a midget in this like tiny chair with like my computer on this like weird thing.
That
So
beautiful Italian chandelier behind you.
I like every apartment has like 20 chandeliers. Like, seriously, I've like never owned one of these in my life. Okay.
Right. Okay, I'm muting.
All right. And finally, have you seen Jeff Koons' amazing 2-part series on using podcasts in the classroom and making them with your students? I highly recommend you watch it. It's now available on the American English YouTube channel. Summing up, today I defined motivation. I established the difference between intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation, and I shared some technology-based activities that will hopefully spark your students' intrinsic motivation to learn. Me on camera.
All right, cool. So should I stop the broadcast?
You could just keep going and I could put the other 2 on here.
Oh yeah.
Or
sure. Yeah,
if you'd prefer to have like 3 separate things, that's cool too.
Oh no, it's totally up to you. You're the one that gets to do all the fun editing stuff. So
yeah.
if you want to keep it here, I'm happy to do so.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Let me just grab my other scripts.
Yep.
By the way, how long do you think that ran? Like without all the redos?
7 minutes or so, probably.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So most likely I'll cut something out, but yeah. Okay, let me grab the other scripts.
Okay. Is the second one games?
Wait, hang on. I didn't hear you. Games, yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, I'm also going to grab water. Just a sec. All righty. I'm ready to go when you are.
Let's see here.
By the way, I meant to ask you in that last one, you had recommended for like whenever I was describing motivation, to kind of say like something like
success equals success, something like that.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
I meant to talk to you about that, and then I forgot. And then as I was reading that part, I was like, fuck, I forgot to ask her about that.
Oh, that's no big deal. It was just like one of my random thoughts. No,
I can always put that in there too, like just add a little. Okay.
No.
All right. So I'm just going to say my little on-camera thing just to set the mood here.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Oh, wait. Let me mute.
Okay. Oh, man. Can you hear the church bells?
No, I cannot. I cannot hear the church bells.
They are like blasting off my ears. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Welcome, everyone, to part 2 of Making Learning Fun, interactive activities to build... Oh, shoot.
Had a great start there.
Okay.
Is it fine?
Yeah. No, actually, I was right. I don't know why. Okay, I'm just going to keep going.
You got worried that you had the wrong script? Okay.
Yes, pretty much.
All right.
I'm just being blinded by this chandelier. Okay. Welcome, everyone, to part 2 of Making Learning Fun, interactive activities to build student motivation and engagement in your classroom. I'm Amy. Yep, perfect. In part 1 of this series, I talked about sparking our students' intrinsic motivation by incorporating technology in the classroom. Now I'm going to show you how to spark that same... Okay. In part 1 of this series, I talked about sparking our students' intrinsic motivation by incorporating technology in the classroom. Now I'm going to show you how to spark that same intrinsic curiosity by using games in the classroom. My goal today is to show you some great games you can use with your students to spark their intrinsic motivation. So let's get started. Playing games are a great way to motivate learners of any age. They foster teamwork, creativity, and higher order thinking. The best types of games to use in the English language classroom are those that challenge students while also allowing them to practice an English point. There are all sorts of games you can use in the classroom, many of which are listed on this page. I'm going to show you a few really fun games I like to use in my classroom.
I'm so sorry. Can I? Oh, can I? I don't know how to make it go to voicemail. It doesn't matter though. Can you start slide 3 again? And could you say playing games is? I think that's the grammatically correct way to say it.
You know what it is? I like.
I thought it was a typo, like, and that's why I didn't mention anything. 'Cause I
No,
was like, she probably just, you know what I mean?
no, but it's not a
But then when you
typo.
said it, okay, yeah. So, anyways, I just
No, but it's British English.
oh,
So like I grew up in Luxembourg and
oh,
went to grad school
makes
in Ireland.
uh-huh.
So it's just sometimes I use, like in that instance, I would always say, I would never say playing games is a great way.
Interesting. Okay, so if I
Yeah.
see stuff like that, it's okay to say,
Yes, absolutely.
okay, cool, because I was
But
like, I'm sure that's a typo. I don't want to make her like feel weird by like correcting. You know what I mean?
no,
Because
no, no.
yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm gonna just write it. I have to correct it with a pen, or else I'm gonna say R.
Okay.
Hang on one sec.
All right.
Yeah, and that even sounds really weird to me. But
That's funny.
yep.
So
Okay.
you've really lived all over the world.
Yeah, I started me young over here. Um, okay, so I am ready. And
For
yeah,
is this slide 3 or is this slide 4?
this is slide 3.
Okay. Alrighty. Let me mute.
Playing games is a great way to motivate learners of any age. They okay. Playing games is a great way to motivate learners of any age. They foster teamwork, creativity, and higher order thinking. The best type, oh man, of course. You know I'm just gonna like keep screwing this one up. Playing games is a great way to motivate learners of any age. They foster teamwork, creativity, and higher order thinking. The best types of games to use in the English language classroom are those that challenge students while also allowing them to practice an English point. There are all sorts of games you can use in the classroom, many of which are listed on this page. I'm going to show you a few really fun games that I like to use in my classroom. The first game I'd like to share with you is Jeopardy! For those of you who don't know, Jeopardy! Is a famous American TV show where contestants compete to answer trivia questions. Playing Jeopardy! Is a great way to review material you've used over the course of your class. You can create your own version for the classroom pretty easily. All you need is some paper, tape, and a wall. This is how it works. Before class, you'll need to create the trivia questions. Choose 6 categories. You can see mine here: American cities, sports, food, holidays, music, and how do you spell it. Make up 5 questions for each category. Take a look at my questions column. Notice that the value of the questions increase. Okay, again. Notice that the value of the questions increases. This is because the more difficult the question is, the more it's worth. So the question for 100 should be the easiest, and for 500 the most difficult to answer. Let's take a look at a question. American cities for 100. This American city is home to the Statue of Liberty. Do you know the answer? I don't know what I should say here, but ding ding, I don't know. Do you think I should should I even like read the question? Should I give that example?
Yeah. Did I? But I think, was I supposed to have it? It doesn't animate. Is it
No,
supposed to animate?
I took away all the animations
Oh,
because
okay,
I
because you're gonna
felt like
animate anyways, or
I can. Like I've done that with other presenters things. But yeah, since I'm like
or if you
gonna
want
add
me.
all these manually,
Uh-huh.
there's no point.
Okay. All right. Whatever you think. I think it sounded fine. Yeah, and then maybe, do you know the answer? That's right. It's New York City. Let's continue.
Okay, I'll just add that little part in.
Okay. Do you want to start?
I'll say, do
Um,
you know the answer?
sounds good. It sounds less cheesy than you think it sounds, though, I have to say.
I hope so.
Yep. All right. So I mute and then you're going to go ahead?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Do you know the answer? That's right, it's New York City. Let's continue. Students can be divided into teams of 3 to 5. Each team should choose one team representative. This is the only person who's allowed to raise their hand to answer questions for their team. One team starts by choosing a category and dollar amount. The host reads the question, and the first team representative to raise their hand can answer. Teams play until all questions have been answered. The team with the highest score wins. Feel free to pause here to see instructions for playing Jeopardy! Most of you probably know Jenga, a game where players try to remove wooden blocks from a stack and place them on top without tipping the stack over. If you don't know Jenga, take a look at a photo. If you don't know Jenga, take a look at the photo on the left. I love to play Jenga in my classroom, but with a twist. I ask my students to write English questions on the blocks. Now, when they take turns pulling out the blocks, they have to read the questions on their block out loud and answer it before placing. Now, when they take turns pulling out the blocks, they have to read the question on their block out loud and answer it before placing it back on the top of the stack. You can allow the questions to be topic free, or you can zero in on a specific topic. For example, if you're teaching your students how to give advice in English, they might write questions like, what movie should I go see tonight? What's the best way to stay in shape? Or, oh shoot, what movie should I go see tonight? Or, what's the best way to stay in shape? You can score the game any way you want. Oh yeah, I think I did like an instruction thing. Okay, so pause here if you'd like to. Okay. Pause here if you'd like to take a Okay. Pause here if you'd like to take a closer look at the Jenga instructions. Games are such a great intrinsic motivator, and there are tons of other board games that you can use in your Games are such an okay, I'm like losing it. Games are such a great intrinsic motivator, and there are tons of other board games that you can use in your ESL classroom. Using classic board games are this is another one. Okay, so
Yeah, don't worry.
shoot. So
I'm
is a fun
sorry.
way.
Yeah.
Shoot, that sounds so weird. Okay,
Okay.
I'll just start from the beginning of this one.
Okay, sounds good.
Games are such a great intrinsic motivator, and there are tons of other board games that you can use in your ESL classroom. Using classic board games is a fun way to introduce new vocabulary and review speaking points.
Everything else is fine here with the
Yeah.
grammar. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, because I
Yep.
started second guessing it.
Yep.
Okay. They're also a welcome change from your regular speaking, reading, and writing exercise routine. I'm a big fan of the board games listed on this page, especially Activate, brought to you by the fabulous team at American English. Activate offers several board game options that will help your students learn American English in a fun, meaningful way. Now, if you don't have access to these games, here's a tip for you. Go online. There are printable versions of most of these games available, including Activate. If you don't have access to these games and you don't have the internet, here's another idea for you. Why not have your students make their own video? If you don't have access to these games and you don't have the internet, here's another idea for you. Why not have your students make their own board games? Creating board games is a rich task that allows students to use precise language to explain a topic and clearly preview what follows, such as the rules, categories, and graphics. When your students begin making board games, they'll be entering into an engaging and positive atmosphere where making mistakes is not only okay, it's fun. If you're new to making board games, here are some tips to get you started. You could have students create board games based on a specific topic, such as weather for a low-level group, or for a higher-level group, you could have them make board games based on a book they're reading. Place students in groups of 3 to 4 and give them specific roles to carry out, such as rule writer, direction giver, board designer, questions creator, and so on. Before your students begin creating the board, the rules, questions, and concepts for the game, I suggest setting parameters specifically in Before your students begin creating the board, the rules, questions, and concept for the game, I suggest setting parameters specifically in regards to the game questions they will create, such as each team must make at least 20 questions. The questions should be varied and must relate to your board game topic. Your students will have fun both making their own games and playing those their fellow classmates have made. I wanted to say also, like, by the way,
Don't worry about the blank. That's totally fine because you've already, yeah.
You saw that I added that at the end of in the slide, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Summing up, today I showed you some games that I hope will spark your students' intrinsic motivation to learn. So I think.
Bye. Talk to you later.
Do I have like one more slide?
No. Wait a minute. I am not sure. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay, so go back to, just go here, present that, and you're gonna say something there.
Yeah.
Okay, let me mute.
Okay. Oh yeah, what am I gonna say here? Before I sign off, I want to remind you to be sure to check out part 3 of this series, Active Learning.
Sounded great.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
Alrighty. Anything you felt I needed to redo in that one?
No, I think I feel bad about the playing games. I think that made you get a little bit you know what I mean? Playing games is, I think that made you second guess yourself a little bit, and that's the only. So I feel bad about that. I
don't worry.
Just let it go. But no, I think it sounds great.
Okay, thanks.
I think it sounds really good.
No, I just have to remember. That's like something I have to just remember sometimes.
Yeah.
A little more. But yeah. Okay. Let's get this last one out of the way and say sayonara.
Okay. This one is active learning.
This is active learning.
Okay.
I wonder if there's like, well, you can see if anyone else is viewing this, but wouldn't it be weird if there's like one like lonely viewer in like, I don't even know,
hello,
China or something?
Yeah.
Like really into it.
Yeah. If you're out there, we just wanted to say hello.
Hey guys. All right.
Okay, it's gonna
Ready to
be
go here?
awesome.
Okay.
All right. I will mute. Go for it.
Welcome everyone to part 3 of Making Learning Fun, interactive activities to build student motivation and engagement in your classroom. In part 1 and 2 of these series, I talked about sparking our students' intrinsic motivation by incorporating technology and games in the classroom. Now I'm going to show you how to spark that same intrinsic curiosity through active learning. My goal today is to show you some great active learning activities you can do with your students to spark their intrinsic motivation. Let's get started. When students are passive, when they're not active, their brains don't do a very good job of processing or retaining information. According to some recent studies, a teacher says about 100 to 200 words a minute. However, a student only hears about 50 to 100 of those words. That's half. Worse yet, in a typical lecture style class, students pay attention just 40% of the time. We know that students learn best when learning is active. We know that students learn best when learning is active. Active learning in the English classroom means that students are mentally involved with the language, that they discover, investigate, and interpret English, often through hands-on activities. Take a look at this list. Which of these activities do you think are forms of active learning? This was going to be my interactive one. Okay, sorry, I'm going to start over. Take a look at this list. Which of these activities do you think are forms of active learning? If you said all of them, you're right. Now I'm going to share some specific active learning activities I like to use in my classroom. Our students love to eat, and many of them even enjoy cooking. One of my favorite food activities to bring to the classroom is live cooking demonstrations. Okay. So now I feel insecure.
Oh no, what happened?
One of my favorite
That's
activities.
correct. Yep,
Okay, that's
right.
correct.
Yep.
Because I want to say are there.
Uh-huh.
God, that's so weird. Okay. Okay. Okay, let me just start that over and
Okay.
just say it more normally.
Sounds good.
You gotta mute.
Oh, hello. There you go. Sorry.
Our students love to eat, and many of them even enjoy cooking. One of my favorite food activities to bring to the classroom is live cooking demonstrations. I do this because I like to give my students the opportunity to share about their home culture, and food is a big part of that. Presenting how to cook with real objects in the room, or realia, will make the learning experience more memorable for your learners, especially if they can see, touch, smell, and taste the food. In addition, they'll be able to practice food vocabulary and imperative statements. Here's a fun idea. Take anything that has to be built into steps. Okay. Here's a fun idea. Take anything that has to be built in steps and turn it into an exciting race. I took something still. Okay. Here's a fun idea. Take anything that has to be built in steps and turn it into an exciting race. I took something silly, a ring made out of a dollar bill, and challenged pairs of students to race to see who could make it first. You can see the finished product over here on the right. Really cool, huh? Well, my students thought it was really cool too, and were super motivated to make it. Here's how the race works. Split your class into pairs, partner A and partner B. Place partner A and partner B on opposite ends of the room. Each end of the room should have a long table. Partner A has a dollar bill at their table. They will be the ringmaker. They must stay at their table throughout the entire race. Partner B has the instructions for making the dollar bill ring at their table. They are the instruction giver. They may move back and forth from their table to their partner's table, but the instructions must never leave their table. So partner B runs back and forth to partner A, delivering the instructions. The first team to complete the ring wins. This isn't okay. This activity is super fun and your students will simply love it. Now, one tip for those of you who teach large classes, this could easily be modified into a team activity. Pause here to see instructions for the dollar bill race. Respected linguists Stephen Krashen and Tracy Terrell said the purpose of Do you think his last name is Terrell or Terrell? I really don't know.
I don't either.
I'm going to say Terrell.
Sounds good.
Okay. Respected linguists Stephen Krashen and Tracy Terrell said the purpose of language instruction is to allow the learner to understand language outside of the classroom. Find ways to give students the opportunity to utilize their English school. I think I'm losing it. Find ways to give students the opportunity to utilize their English school.
It's all good. Do you want to
I'm sorry.
No worries. Do you want to you have basically four slides to go.
Yeah.
You can do it, girl. Or
okay,
or if you feel like taking a little break, I have nothing but time, so
no, that is just gonna I'm gonna botch even further if you
okay.
Time, trust me. I'll just start over from the beginning of that slide and I'll try to say these people's names properly again.
Yeah. Sounds good. The name sounded perfect to me personally, so
thanks. Wow.
All right.
All right.
Okay, here we go.
Respected linguists Stephen Krashen and Tracy Terrell said the purpose of language instruction is to allow the learner to understand language outside of the classroom. Find ways to give students the opportunity to utilize their English skills outside of the classroom by sending them into the real world to practice what they've learned. Doing this will allow your students to encounter authentic language, see their own progress when they interact in an authentic setting, which can help them to develop confidence, and become independent learners who can eventually make use of the English community in their own time outside of class. Getting outside of the classroom provides so many fun opportunities to learn in English. I'm going to say that last line again. And getting outside of the classroom provides so many fun opportunities to learn English. Finally. For example, you could facilitate a photo scavenger hunt. This is a fantastic way to help your students build vocabulary. For a lower level class, you could simply make a list of things that students must take photos of. On the left, you can see a list of easy vocabulary that I've created. You can put students into pairs or teams, each with their own camera or smartphone, and have them go around and take photos. The team that comes back first with all the photos is the winner. For a higher level class, you could use more abstract language. Check out my sample list on the left. For example, something spooky depends on a student's own experience and interpretation of the concept of the word. Alternatively, you could come up with creative clues that your students must first solve and then take pictures of. For some reason, that one had the transition or the animations. Does your town have an English-speaking community? Why not connect with them? Okay. Does your town have an English-speaking community? Why not connect with them at a community center or on social media and set up a language exchange with your students? A language exchange is when people who speak different languages meet to practice each other's language. This is mutually beneficial for your students who want to learn English and the English speakers who are interested in your students' native language and their culture. It's also a great way for your students to make new friends. There are tons of other ways to get your students learning in an active way. Here are some more ideas. It sounds weird. There are tons of ways. Okay.
Sounds fine to me.
Okay, I'm going to just say it like a little differently.
Okay.
There are tons of other ways to get your students learning actively. Here are some more ideas. Tour anything in English, museums, historical sites, businesses, or factories. Take a photo walk. This is a little bit different than the photo scavenger hunt. You just go around and walk and speaking. I'm not even going to explain it. Never mind. Yeah, my script doesn't even match up with this. This is ridiculous. Okay, I'm just going to start this over and basically read the slide.
Perfecto. Okay, sorry, I'm going to
There are tons of other ways to get your students learning actively. Here's some more ideas. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I was just going to say pause here to check out some more ideas. Do you think that's okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do that one more time.
Okay.
Okay. There are tons of other ways to get your students learning actively. Pause here to check out some more ideas. Finally, I encourage you to take advantage of active learning. Yeah, that I didn't even write that in my script. I'm just like, I just made that up. Okay. As we come to the end of my presentation, As we come to the end of my presentation, I encourage you to take advantage. It doesn't even say take advantage. I keep putting that word in. Okay, sorry.
Don't worry. It's totally, don't worry. Bottom line, don't worry.
As we come to the end of my presentation, I encourage you to take active learning to the next level by helping your students fully immerse in their learning. You can do this by extending active learning. For example, if your students did a photo walk, extend the activity by setting up an exhibition of their best photos. Did your students have a blast creating their own lyrics to a popular song? Arrange for them to perform it in front of other classes, their parents, or even the public. Have your students created unique materials throughout the course of your class? Why not work on showing them off in a class magazine that incorporates their different talents, such as poems, songs, art, opinion pieces, jokes, and so on? Or arrange to have your class help facilitate a game for younger English learners. This type of inter-student interaction, where your students teach other students what they've learned, is mutually beneficial for your students and those they are teaching. Do I have a last slide that takes you back to the other two? No, I haven't in the beginning. Okay, never mind. Oh, summing up. Oh, yeah, okay. Summing up. Today I showed you active learning activities that I hope will spark your students' intrinsic. Okay, let me do this over. Summing up. Today I showed you active learning okay, one more time. Summing up. Today I showed you some active learning activities that I hope will spark your students' intrinsic motivation to learn. Thanks. I'm not saying anything here because I'll just do it.
Okay, sorry. Yep. All right, sounds good. Did you want to do any like standard voiceovers? You know what I mean?
I could, but I can just do them directly in Final Cut
perfect.
Pro,
Yep.
which is way easier.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Okay.
Well, how do you feel now that you've gone through the process of being the like
Yeah, it's good. It's good
person?
to know about like the how to set up the PowerPoint correctly, and the fact that it takes a second to switch between views and stuff like that. So it's good. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's been helpful just to kind of know what it's like in the behind the scenes factor. And also
Yeah.
it also for some reason makes me feel like it's actually one thing I think we can really try to convey to presenters in general for this recording session is it's totally like you can totally repeat yourself throughout the whole thing. I think when we first started, we were kind of I felt like it was more like a live webinar for whatever reason, like, okay, this is a recording, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but this is really like, I think, yeah, we can just say, hey, if this is totally not live, nobody else is watching this right now, and I'm going to cut and edit so much. Repeat yourself whenever you want, stop whenever you want. If you get tongue tied, it's no big deal. Like, I think that's, just a nice thing for presenters to know.